News First, Newsline Prime with Faraz Shaukatali.
And a very good evening to you. This is Newsline Prime, live as always from the News First studios in Dorset Street in Colombo. And this evening, to further discuss the current political and constitutional matter that seems to have engulfed our entire country, we've got Mr. Azath Saleh, fresh from a visit up north to Kilinochchi. He's right here in the studio with us this evening. Very good evening to you, Mr. Azath Saleh.
Very good evening, Faraz.
Now then, before we go to matters constitutional and the political impasse, what were you doing in Kilinochchi?
Kilinochchi, we had the opening of the Irunamadu dam. That was raised 2 feet higher.
Right.
And 3 extra gates have been already done.
Okay.
And it's functioning after a very, very long time. And the people of the area were so happy to receive the president and especially water to the areas. But the main issue there was the MP to that area was always blocking that being done because he was always interested only to ensure that that water only reaches Kilinochchi and not to Jaffna.
Correct.
Right? So that was the issue, and today it has been opened out. So we hope in the best interest of the people something
So I was going
good
to
will
ask
happen.
you, so does that mean that water is now going into, will now go to Jaffna too?
It might, with all these new developments and all that.
Well, they need it.
They need it, and even today,
I think only 2% of the people in Jaffna city proper, have got only about 2% have got running
water,
tap water.
Yeah, correct.
Everything else is wells and so on.
And after the opening, there were several discussions by the governor and all how to improve more water facilities, especially to get drinking water separate and to give them 2 lines. One is to give them the drinking water, and for other uses from the other tanks that they could make use of.
Did you and the president go anywhere else? Did the president go anywhere
else? We went to a village also, saw the interest of the people, the problems that they are facing, the schools situation.
And did the president see that himself firsthand?
Yeah. Whenever president goes to an area, he makes sure he goes to a school, he goes to a religious place of worship, or he goes to a village and see what the people are doing, what their income is, what are the difficulties they have, and then try to rectify those things then and there. And he gives instructions to the GA and to the governor of the area. So that he did today also.
Did he give any instructions in terms of housing?
Yes, there are a lot of people who came and complained that they are without houses. And as you know, the 3.5 years we were talking about the 50,000 houses to the north, and nothing came up. So that itself was an insult to the people of Jaffna, right? So
and I suppose it all sort of reverberates or ends up on the president's head.
Exactly. And finally, when they don't do anything, they say this is the situation. But you know, what the problem was between the TNA and the UNP.
Yes, that
Mr. Swaminathan was always willing to do it. But the TNA was blocking, say that they don't want these houses that are precast houses. They did not want a precast house, and they wanted cement block houses. And finally that discussion was going on for 3.5 years and nothing was achieved. So this is how things happen.
Right. Well, there's some hope because it's so many years after the end of the war, Azad, and
you can't allow the people to suffer like this.
That's right, because
they suffered a 30-year-old war.
30 plus years, actually the whole country suffered it.
Exactly.
But also they, in the former conflict areas, suffered it on a greater scale.
Exactly.
And a bigger magnitude. And now these people need homes. They need homes, they need compensation.
They get schools, they need compensation, they need... At least the next 15-20 years some people can live, because if you take with the age...
The danger is that if you don't address these issues, then frustration will build up.
Exactly.
And when frustration builds up, then people are more amenable to other matters. Which is what we need to be mindful of, isn't it?
Exactly.
Now, talking about the people's frustration, all over the island, people are obviously frustrated with politics and politicians.
Exactly.
What do you think is at the heart of this problem?
Actually, this whole situation everybody is today talking about is the 19th Amendment.
Right.
This 19th Amendment for us
Yeah.
was brought in just to suit a few individuals,
Yeah.
right? And today you can see with this court case going on and the arguments that are taking place,
Yeah.
we are still talking about the 19th Amendment,
Mm.
the plus and the minus of the 19th Amendment. You know how hurriedly it was brought in,
Yes, it was
with
done over 2
over
days.
130 odd amendments coming into it, right? And then whether the president has signed it or not is still a thing that is being argued now. And even the president himself is saying, I can't remember signing the 19th Amendment,
Right.
So that is there at that point. So the singular version is something, the
Yeah.
English version is something,
Something else, yeah.
right? So these type of things. And with this removal of the president
Yeah.
is a very clear and is a prerogative of the president and not the Speaker of Parliament,
Right.
right? So when the Prime Minister was removed and
Yeah.
a new Prime Minister was installed, we saw very clearly
Yeah.
the Speaker of Parliament accepting the new Prime Minister,
Right.
giving him his room, giving his chair, and the government side was given the Chief Whip the room for him to be there.
Yeah.
After 3 to 4 days, we see the change of the Speaker. Due to what pressure? I do not know.
Well, I mean, he did accept Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Exactly. This is what my argument is. After accepting Mahinda Rajapaksa
Yeah.
as the Prime Minister,
Yeah.
giving him his dutiful place in Parliament,
Yeah.
that is the government side was given the government side,
Yeah.
he was given his office as the Prime Minister's office there in Parliament,
Yes.
the Chief Whip was Dinesh Gunawardena was given his room in Parliament, everything was accepted. After 3 days, we see the Speaker saying, I am getting back to the status quo of 26th of October.
Right.
This is where all these problems came. And now
Yeah.
we see arguments over arguments on whether the president did his right or wrong.
Indeed.
Right? Nobody went to court
Yeah.
to file a case when the Prime Minister was removed.
Indeed.
And you saw Mr. Sumendran participating in a function with the Bishop of Colombo.
Mr. Sumandran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There the Bishop is asking, why you didn't go to courts? There is a problem, he says.
Mm.
So they knew there was a problem, and that is why they did not go to court
Right.
on that. That is why later they decided to go on the Gazette notification.
Mm-hmm.
That is the,
Very interesting, but also we have yesterday Member of Parliament, Mr. Pereira,
Dilan
said,
Pereira.
yes, he said that he has his suspicions that he's wondering how, and he says that they're looking into it, how the term of the president ended up as 5 years, from 6 to 5, without a 2/3 majority and having a referendum of the people. He is wondering whether this was smuggled through the
in the
back
committee
door
stages.
in the committee stage.
This is what everybody is talking today. Today you have created a situation
Yeah,
where everybody in every tea boutique is also talking this.
right.
Arguments are taking place. So this is why I think, Faraz, I told you last time also,
Yes.
my fear is that the scenario that is taking place in Parliament should not spread to the local authorities. And from the local authority should not go into the villages.
But it is Parliament who has frustrated
Exactly.
the electoral process
Correct.
in these provinces. It is Parliament who's done
Exactly.
that. You know, it's an electoral suspension by any other, however you want to call it. But now the latest information we have is that the Supreme Court has not fixed a date to announce the decision on petitions against the dissolution of Parliament, and the interim order is extended until the verdict is, this is latest news coming in just now, until the verdict is delivered.
But earlier we got the message that it was extended up to the 10th.
Yes. But
then again it has been corrected, so the judgment is given.
That's right.
So then anyway it has to be before the 14th, no?
Correct.
The court is going on vacation from the 14th.
That's right.
So it has to be anyhow before that.
Correct.
So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they might be, they have already concluded all hearing, that submissions, hearings, all that is completed, no, for us.
Indeed.
So only the order has to be made. So it's not easy also, so much of submissions, so much of counter submissions. Then you can see 7 judges are there.
Indeed.
So everybody has to put their pen to paper.
Do you think that the Prime Minister has and his team have managed to smuggle in the amendments to the the bits and pieces of the 19th Amendment?
This is what everybody is accusing
smuggled
now.
it in.
That is what everybody is accusing now.
Because actually there's not much credibility left, because he's had a lot of problems in this
term. See, this
term.
19th Amendment was approved by everybody except one person, no? Except one person, it was approved. So such a thing, when things happen during committee stages, so people lose confidence there also again.
Indeed, indeed,
so
they do.
That is the issue that is there for us.
Indeed. Now then, we thank you for sending your messages. As you know, you can send your messages in on 0772 300 305, and that's an SMS number. The first of these messages is an interesting one, Azath. The Right to Information Commission, the RTI Commission, has made a bold and historic ruling that asset declarations of ministers, including MPs, can be accessed by the public. A directive has been issued to the Secretary of the President. This is something we have been talking about for a long time, right here on this program. Thank you for that. Trust you will take advantage of this opportunity. Let's say a directive. This you've been talking about. Trust you will take advantage of this opportunity to discuss and publish and publicize these matters.
See, this is the exact situation, and this is what we wanted.
Yeah.
Just to bring right for information is not to get a document from a secretary of a ministry, but right for information in all matters.
That's right.
Right? This is what we wanted, and this is what even people wanted on the Bond Commission.
Correct, but that sadly is not
yet gone to the archives department.
Yes.
Right? So
I don't know what Austin Fernando was thinking.
now that the president has come out and said,
is he to do that?
Now the president has come out and said, put the Tamil and English copies out.
It looks like only the president has been doing any work. So he might as well not have his ministers.
Exactly.
Because he's doing it all himself.
If this continues, it will be better for the country.
I think so. I think so. Somebody, a young fellow, said to me yesterday or day before, he said, well, why do we want a parliament? He said, they've been going for now more than a month, so let's carry on. It'll be cheaper.
Might be, yes.
So the president's doing what he can.
Exactly.
But do you think that the president will actually, because he seems to be the forgiving type, right? And he seems to have a lot of patience. Yeah. And then he blows up when he can't take it.
Only,
yeah, but he can't take it anymore. And I think he's had his share of fill with his prime minister at the time, with dear Ranil. Now, dear Ranil has been asked to supply his asset declarations, and he should now do that. And this is under the RTI Act, which means that we
not only him, but all the cabinet ministers, everybody, MPs, everybody.
We can discuss these things under the RTI Act. If you get it, then you can discuss it.
Exactly.
It was Sabrina Yusufali who pointed this out on Newsline some time back. We're glad that she did, and now we're glad that Transparency International have gone to the RTI Commission and plodded along there, and they've got this thing. So now what's left is to see compliance.
They have to. It has to be compliant. I mean, they have to give it to the public whenever they want.
Do you think that this will be applicable to members of the Colombo Municipal Council?
Everybody, because everybody who is coming for election, even before you give it to the Colombo Municipal Council, the Election Commission has now started. No, with the nomination, your declaration has to go to them.
Right.
So that is available. Everybody has to give that.
Right. Good. And then hopefully we can do a special program
On that, RTI.
we can do the top 20 richest people in politics.
Exactly.
Who do you think come out on top?
Let's wait and see. I don't want to come.
Where are you? Are you in the top 20?
No. Maybe the bottom 20 I'll be there.
Right, okay. Right then. Now then, the questions are coming in thick and fast. Thank you very much. Keep coming. Keep sending them in. But almost every single one is to do with what's happening now. What is the plan? Now, you obviously, you've been traveling around with the President today, so why don't you tell us what do you feel? What do you feel? What's his mood?
No, President is of course waiting for the court to give the verdict.
Yeah.
Whichever way it comes,
Yeah.
it's not going to harm him, no.
Yes.
He has already issued the gazette for dissolution of Parliament. If they go with the President, jolly well and good. If not, a new cabinet has to be sworn in.
Indeed.
Very, very simple. I mean, for him it's not a big issue.
Yes, but he has said, hasn't he, that he will not appoint Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Yeah, so that is what Faraz, I have already told you, that the UNP also now should think of how to compromise this.
Right.
How to come to a settlement. If the UNP want to go for election with their government, they have to take one step backward, think of a leader, temporarily at least. If you can't give up your leadership, temporarily at least think of somebody who can be negotiated with the President, right? Whom the President can accept, has to be nominated. No, so that has to be done by the UNP and not anybody else. So if they want that, if not, the President again can reappoint the same people, or he can appoint somebody from his party.
Yes, but it won't do any good. But it won't do any good.
It won't do any good.
But how's his mood?
He is okay. I mean, he's just...
is he unduly worried?
No. You don't see. When you meet him also, you will see he's not tense at all.
Right.
Whatever may come, he will take it in good spirit.
And he knows what he's doing. Obviously.
Exactly.
So that's the confidence he has.
That is the confidence. Well, I think he had
Did he tell you whom he likes to be? Just between us.
No. We are in a program, so I think after the program you can ask me.
Right. But do you know the answer?
Let me tell you after that.
All right. Well, I tried. All right. Anyway, so but you might know the answer. But Azath Salih, what can they do to change the culture? I mean, let's be fair. We've got a bunch of
Faraz,
rogues
on this
there.
19th Amendment, President made a statement yesterday. He very clearly said that if there are clauses that needs amendment to the 19th Amendment, he is prepared to do that.
Correct.
That's a very welcoming gesture by the President to correct whatever that wrong has been done can be corrected. But this 19th Amendment itself was hurriedly and bought in just to satisfy some individuals.
Right.
This is the thing that is going on for some time.
But also, I mean, there are some good points in the 19th Amendment. But we have to remember this, that Ranil and his principal draftsman, who drew this all up, they tried to control the media through this. And if it was not for the vigilance of legal department at Team Maharaja, then Newsfirst and our broadcasting arm would have been in trouble.
Exactly.
As would everybody else have been. So we fought that battle, and we're proud to say that we've made sure that that didn't happen.
Correct.
But during this same battle, we would now have to find out, and it'll be a worthwhile exercise even for you, Mr. Salih, to find out how it is that the people's franchise, that means, I mean, they chose the president for 6 years. Later, sometime into his term, they are told, not asked, but told, that their president, his term will be reduced to 5. So we want to find out why it is, how come this went through such a crucial matter, went over the heads of the public, the people who are voting. Because on these important matters, the public must be told in advance.
Not only that, people voted for a president who will serve for 6 years.
Correct.
So later, as I told you, the individuals concerned made this 5 years.
I mean, it's a bit like that lopsided judgment by Azath and Silva, because his judgment permitted these crossovers to happen.
Correct.
And that's not very good, is it?
Actually, that was also discussed. Even JVP was of that view that crossover should not take place. But at the last minute, they brought in amendments and allowed the crossovers. So these are things, they knew these things are coming up in line. We will be able to buy somebody, they will be able to buy somebody. So this buy and sell exchange was allowed by the two parties. If not, if they had bought no to that, today this situation would have not arisen for us.
Isn't it strange that every time we see RW's hand in certain things, it appears to end up in controversy?
Of course, yes, we have seen even most of the
19th Amendment was, you know, I remember watching this live when in Parliament. And it was done ever so late and almost in a rush, all ad hoc, but he tried, it was called a kottu at the time, if you remember. His involvement in the bond and so on. What will they do about the 19th Amendment? Obviously, with the 19th Amendment, nobody can rule this country properly.
Exactly. So that is why the President has said, whatever amendments that is needed in the 19th Amendment, that he will get that done. So I think everything can be done only after this court case is concluded. Before that, nobody can predict anything. We have to wait and see, Faraz.
Good. Here's another question. It is Parliament that can bring amendments to the Constitution and not the President. Correct?
Correct.
Right. That's true. But the Parliament can't be making amendments which will affect the people.
Exactly.
And therefore, in certain cases, the people need to be consulted.
Now here also, what is the argument they are bringing in? Is on this 19th Amendment, a chaotic situation has been created now.
Yeah.
At a time like this, what is happening by the dissolution is you're going back to the people for a franchise. So we are allowing the people to use their franchise of electing a new government. Is that going to make any harm to anybody? Then they say, bring in argument to say, yes, today you will do this, tomorrow when the new government is formed, the next day you will dissolve. Has that ever happened in this country? We saw Chandrika Kumaratunga when Ranil Wickremesinghe became Prime Minister for 2 years. Within that period she dissolved Parliament. That was 2 years only. But
it's also
now it's 3.5 years, and a state, you can see nobody has a clear mandate to rule this country.
Correct.
That is where
because
the issue is.
these people who've been elected, their mandate was obtained in August 2015. Then thereafter we had local polls, and the results were dramatic. The people voted to show their displeasure with the Parliament and their representatives.
Correct.
And nobody seems to be taking the blindest bit of notice about that, including the champion of democracy, and we all know who he is. Why are they so? Is it all to do with deals?
Actually, that is the problem now. All this controversy started also by selling out things.
Well, they sold 99 years to the Chinese.
That's what I'm saying. So these are the issues now. you want to sell the...
And interestingly, can I just say this? And I do have information, and this is right.
Yeah.
The 99-year, the lease payment from the Chinese was supposed to be $1.2 billion. B, $1,200 million, was the same as 1.2 billion.
Yeah.
Anyway, this money was paid, but it didn't go to settle the loan that they spoke about.
Correct.
Instead, the money that came to the Sri Lanka Ports Authority was remitted to the General Treasury.
Correct.
The loan is still current. So they obviously used this loan money as like an overdraft, just to, to use it all up. So once again, it appears to me, on the basis that this is true and correct, that it appears to me that the people of this country have once again been cheated. Because on the one side they say, look, we had to do this because the Rajapaksa borrowed so much money. Right, okay. But they didn't take that money and settle it. It's like
people bought the change for you to manage. Not to keep saying that somebody has borrowed and gone and we can't pay this loan. No, not for that.
It is
knowing that only they bought the change. Now with the change, you must have an infrastructure to pay these loans.
Yeah.
And how you are going to? Now we saw Sri Lankan Airlines. The previous government had ordered 4 planes.
Yeah.
What happened? In a hurry you went and cancelled it. And who had to pay for it? The country has to pay for it. Right? You know, for us, any plane that is ordered will take at least 2 years or 2.5 years, 3 years for delivery.
Yeah.
When this is happening, you should have, with the market that is wanting aeroplanes, you should have negotiated to a nearby country. Do you want this? Take it. Give us our money only. Don't want a profit. But here what happened? On the cancellation, we had to pay more than $100 million.
And the Sri Lankan Commission is hearing everything excepting what's happening now.
Exactly.
They were discussing 5 kilos of gold today, according to our young reporter Zenith, who told me that they were discussing, and they've been doing this for so many days now, about 5 kilos of gold. Well, this should have been reported to customs. And the point is that they're looking at that past and they're saving this last bit. They should have started from now and then gone back. Because then they're obviously they are.
A lot of things would have come.
Indeed. Look, so Azath Saleh, we've come to the end. Isn't it amazing how quickly half an hour has gone?
Goes, yes.
And that's why they also say that a day is a long time in politics.
Exactly.
Last and final question before I can go away, because I think you do owe me a minute here. What do you think of the actions of one Karu Jayasuriya, Speaker? What do you think?
Actually, he had been my mayor. I've been working together.
Right.
I
never
never expected a change like this in him when the parliamentary affairs started. And that is only worrying me because people have started accusing him for what has happened in parliament. So really disturbing and really upset in what happened, because everybody was calling him a statesman, a gentleman, all that. And today parties are accusing him for the behavior that took place from the 26th onwards. That's all that I can say.
Amazing. People's reputations have been broken. So many
expectation also.
And expectations and reputations have gone to the winds in this so-called good governance period. Well, Azath Saleh, what a tragedy that is. Let's keep smiling. The Supreme Court has said that they will, the interim order is extended until they make their observation. And so we shall wait with grave interest, because everybody is
waiting for that.
Is waiting for that, and everybody is assuring that they will play ball by that, by that order.
Correct.
So Azath Saleh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your questions that you keep sending. Take care. Have a pleasant evening, and God bless.
News First, Newsline Prime with Faraz Shaukat Ali.